Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast for all the crap we'd love to talk about on ye old bravs. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Ronnie, and that is the gorgeous, thin, and well-coiffed Ben Mantelker. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Good. How you doing over there?
Doing great, thanks. Doing great. Just, Friday. Happy to be at Friday.
Has any beauty queen texted you back today? Garsh!
Garsh, I've been waiting. Oh, gosh. Maybe that's what
I'm just a Garsh waiting in a store. Everybody, it is Southern Charm Day. Welcome. Before we get started, we're on the Mounting Hysteria tour. That's a tour that we go to your city. It's so fun. We're going to be in March. We're going to be in Cincinnati, Minneapolis, Toronto, Charlotte, Atlanta, Washington, Philadelphia, and then other places, including Boston, Detroit, Chicago, Austin, Dallas, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. Hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure that's coming up. So check out our website, watchwhatcrappens.com, for ticket links and dates and all that good stuff. Also, if you want traders recaps, guess what? We do those. Yay! They're on our Patreon. And so are videos like the one that we're doing right now. So if you'd rather watch some video recaps, go over there to do it. Patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens, or just join our YouTube and you get it a week later for free. So what's going on with you, Ben? What's new in your life since yesterday?
Well, just been exciting times over here. Watched some Southern Charm, watched some Traders, watched The Substance. Really watched a lot of things in the past 24 hours, and they were all very visceral. So, that's basically what's new with me. What's new with you?
Yeah, me too. It's been a visceral world over here, too. I'm still reading Lonesome Dove. That is nothing but pure pain and gore and disgust. I don't know how that's one of the most romantic books of all our time, but I'm on the fourth book. I'm vowing to finish this book, even though I'm disgusted. And I watched The Traders UK, and that was really good. Loved it. And I ordered a laser thing online that gets rid of hair. So I've been waiting by the door, waiting for my laser thing to show up so I could start dehairing myself. I'm gonna be smooth like a fucking seal next time you see me.
Wow. Are you gonna apply it? Where are you gonna apply it?
Everywhere. I want no hair everywhere. I want to look like a basic Wii character when I'm done.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's gonna be exciting. That'll be a smooth experience for you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's my big news in life. Let's get on with this recap. Southern Charm, Season 10, Episode 12, Lost at Sea. Oh, poor Garsh. Poor little shepherd. All he wants is real love with somebody that he's met 3 times, is 20 years younger, and doesn't live anywhere near him. Oh, poor guy.
I did mention that I just watched The Substance, which, I was warned it's a really gross movie. And I swear, I think that it was only the second grossest thing I watched last night because I don't know, watching Shep just trying to just win back over Sienna, that one had me squirming way more than The Substance ever did.
Yeah. I mean, no one even likes the title of The Substance that watches this show, because I feel like if you're any self-respecting woman, what you're trying to avoid from any man on this show is The Substance. Okay, just stay away from them. They're gross. They're all gross, including you, Craig, you fucking compulsive liar. But we'll get to that in a moment. So we start with horror music playing because JT is arriving in Bahamar. And, JT's kind of divaing out, which I don't really like. I think he's too new to be pulling this diva shit of showing up late and leaving early and throwing fits and doing all of this. But he did lead to the only interesting things about the episode. So, Team JT for now.
Yeah, I actually feel bad for the guy. I agree. He should just stick it through. That's the job. And there's always going to be uncomfortable moments. There's always going to be pylons. But I did feel bad for him. So then Molly,
without pylons, freeways can't stay standing. So accept your pylon, JT.
Yeah. And when he did arrive, last week we talked about how on this show they smash all the keys on the keyboard, and they did that in a song. They made it bloom 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 as he walked into Bahamar, which I appreciated. And then now we see everyone else arriving back at the hotel because they were all on their afternoon adventures where we last saw them. And Madison's like, okay, everyone, no drama today. So then they're all gonna like get ready for tonight, get washed, etc. Molly has sunburn, and eventually Taylor goes into Vanita's room and asks how the fish fry was. And Vanita says she thought they'd be frying fish, but instead they were just getting fried on alcohol.
And she was like, oh my God, isn't it so cute? JT just texted me asking me about his shoes. And then she's showing the pictures of JT, showing himself posing in different shoes. And it's not cute. And why are you still even accepting text from this person? And why are you giddy over it? You're making me very uncomfortable at this point, Vanita. Okay, I know we make fun of your dog scenes, but I like you. I'm rooting for Vanita. I feel like we've always been rooting for Vanita, but you're trying me at this point.
Yeah, I agree. So Taylor basically Vanita basically says that they vowed to have a night of no tomfoolery. And Taylor's like, I agree. And Vanita says, I just want everyone to get along, and everyone is mad at JT. So I'm like, once we get over that hump, we could be great. Yeah, good luck with that.
So then Madison's calling Brett, and Brett's also very excited. I swear they must have some charisma meter on this show because everybody on it is just brimming. She calls her man, and she's like, hi, how are you? And he's like, good. Good, well, what you doing? Nothing. Just working. I miss you. How's work? It's hot, Madison. He's a fucking fireman. How do you think it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So we are done with them. Thank God.
And meanwhile, she's like applying chocolate syrup to her lips. I was like, what is happening over there? She's like, tell me more, Britt. And like her lips are like this like dark black like syrupy stuff on them. I was like, how is this gonna blend together? And then when we see her later, her lips are just like light pink. So I felt like I was set up for a story that did not pay off.
Well, now, like in modern makeup, the ladies put on many, many layers of crazy things, and this is an episode that really points that out. So maybe there was like a base of lip and then another thing for the lip and then another thing. Like when you were a kid and you would scribble with crayon on a piece of paper and then cover it all in black crayon and then scratch out pictures. They would be like multicolored pictures. Do you know what I mean? Did you ever do that?
I didn't do that, but that's interesting.
Lame. So, well, it must have been my Montessori school. Just kidding. I didn't go to Montessori school. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. And later we see it with Molly putting on her makeup where she gets the really dark thing and just like lines her face for the contouring.
I know. Everyone's like getting ready for Lion King.
Yeah. And then she looks fairly normal by the time she goes to dinner. Couldn't you just put on a little like, I don't know, eyeliner?
Yeah,
I don't know.
really
I'm really
just,
big on
blends.
eyeliner after watching The Traders UK because the hostess of that show she's basically a walking eyeliner stick. She's an eyeliner stick with bangs, and so that's all I really ever.
She is pretty much as close to a crow as a human can be. Like she has that jet black hair with the bangs. And she comes in and I love the way she scolds everyone. But she's like very supportive, but then she scolds. Like during the challenges, she can't help. She breaks character all the time and cheers them on. But then at the round table, she's like, I want you to think about this. You just sent home a faithful. Think about that. Think about it tonight when you're sleeping. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Okay, so now everybody goes over to dinner, and Craig and Austin are wearing the same outfit. It's a big episode where guys are dressing each other too, and they're like wearing matchy things. Like later, Craig and Shep wear short rompers, and I don't know. It's all very confusing. I'm not really sure what's happening this episode, but they go to dinner, and Molly's ass decides to do more work than she has this season by sweating, so that's good. Someone's making an effort. And then Whitney shows up to dinner, and then JT comes in, and the music's like, blink, 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 blink. It's like every dying sound of every instrument.
Yeah. And then everyone says hi, and Vanita's like, there's a different type of joy when JT's in the room for me. Yeah. Sure. I mean, it just feels like we've been told these things, but they're like, I still don't fully believe them, So they all get on this bus and everything, and like people who like JT go on JT's bus, but people who can't stand him go on a different bus. And Mass is like, I just wanna flick him out of here, just like a little flick. So JT's like, well, I'm cautiously hopeful to be here. I mean, there's enough relationships in this friend group that I do care about that it's worth the awkward feeling that I have right now in my chest and my heart and my gut. I'm like, okay, just you're in the Bahamas. Have fun. Come on.
My chest, my heart, my gut. My gut.
I have enough.
Okay.
I feel it in my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack. A lot of friendships.
So Shep is also moping around in the van, because his girl still doesn't like him. And so they're like, good to have you, JT. And Whitney's like, yeah, I'm here too. I was just chilling today. Shep's like, yeah, this is good for you. You're going to be happy, JT. You're going to love it here. Just look how happy everybody else is. One girl won't show up. Whitney won't show up. Vanita showed up a day late. Everybody else stayed in bed all day. It's been great time.
So now they all arrive at dinner, and JT and Madison are on opposite ends of the table. And then it's like Sally has to sit next to JT, but she doesn't really want to. So then Craig basically, she's like, absolutely fucking not. Sorry. I just do not like that guy. I mean, that's someone who I would not be giving a BJ to in the parking lot of a Great American, if you know what I'm saying. Actually, it's pretty obvious what I'm saying. I literally just said it.
Yeah. We cut back to why she's mad, and it's because at the tuba party, JT confronted her about breaking up the very healthy previous relationship of Gaston by giving him a kind of blowjob in the Great American parking lot. So now, Shep goes over to Sally and he's like, hey, I think we just, we click and she doesn't want to lose that. And I don't either. I'm talking about Sienna, just in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. I just need someone new that's not sick of me yet to listen to this bullshit act I'm trying to tell everybody. I'm a man who can feel love.
So Craig tells JT. Craig has now taken over Sally's seat because she doesn't want to sit next to JT. So he's like, I've been dealing with this all day. I'm just listening. And Sally's like, well, I think you deserve better, Shep. And I don't want to see you get hurt. I'm like, I don't know if Shep deserves better. I think he deserves exactly this. Like, after all the years that we've seen Shep on TV, this is the precise thing that his actions require.
So he's like, I appreciate that. I'm a boy. And then Taylor just rolls her eyes. So then Craig's like, someone's like, well, don't worry. Sienna's showing up tomorrow. And Craig's like, he thinks she is, but she's not. It's very obvious she's stringing him on now, okay? All right, Craig, you know what? You're not wrong, but you've been in a relationship for 1 minute. That doesn't make you a relationship expert. Just please be quiet. Craig's getting worse and worse with every episode.
Yeah. And then Austin's like, Jesus Christ, man. And Craig's like, his head has been scrambled the entire time trying to figure out where they stand. Well, Craig has not one single ounce of empathy. Ugh. So,
Chef's like, Madison, I'm sorry to notice, but your chest is just glistening. And it's like, thanks. That was the point of buying them.
So food arrives, it's all lovely and delicious, and Shep is like, hey Molly, not to belabor the point, but remember how I was telling you about the text I sent to Sienna? The really romantic text that will surely win her over? The one that ends with, thank you for listening to my TED Talk? And she's like, oh my God. Yes. Oh, okay. So what, you want to talk about it? So then he starts showing her the text, and he's like, this is what I sent her. And she's actually since she likes Shep, she's being supportive, even though she knows this is a creepy ass, terrible text. She's like, oh my God, this is really sweet. Oh, and that line about, oh, my heart sings when I'm with you. Oh my God, you're going to make me cry. This is so sweet.
Oh my God, and her freckled little lips. That is so cute. Oh my God, to Garsh or not to Garsh. Oh my God, Shep, you're like poetic. You're like poetic. And Madison's watching. It's like, hey, ding dong, you got Molly right there who actually likes you, okay? I mean, why don't you shoot your shot with someone that sees you? Because she lives in the same town and he can't consistently cheat on her, and then he'd actually have to make an effort to be in a relationship, and the Sienna thing is fake anyway. I don't know what you people aren't understanding. It's really annoying that nobody on this cast really understands, or they do understand and they're just too bored to call it out. Come to work.
Yeah.
Cast.
Yeah, exactly. So Shep is like, I mean, if you got that text message, would you be like over the moon, a free TED talk? And she's like, yeah. I mean, even though you don't have any freckles on your lips, I'm a changed man. Look at me making cute jokes.
She's like, oh my God, do you need freckles? I'll put freckles on my lips. Like, whatever you need. What do you need me to do to stay on the show? I've already dated Whitney. So I really don't know what else I could do. Sure, someone hand me an eyeliner pencil. Okay, Mama's got to pay the mortgage.
So then JT's asking about the boat tomorrow, and Shep says they're going to go on like a boat trip. It's going to be like Jamaica Mon, and it's going to be a 400-foot boat. And Sally's saying, oh, good, it's big enough where I don't have to, they won't notice if you go missing. Referring to JT.
And he's like, would you like some food salad? Why don't I hand the missus this plate first? Because as everyone knows, I'm a respecter of the female. And she's like, oh, God. And they're like, wow, look at that. It looks like JT's making an effort to get along. She says, oh, yeah, he handed me a plate. Big whoop. I love your hair tonight as well. Love that, too. She's like, don't fuck with me, JT. He's like, you're also stunning, I might add.
You know, this is where JT goes wrong because he does these things that he like. These are like textbook chivalrous things, right? You're giving a compliment to a lady, and so therefore you're getting along. But it's like, nope, that's not how you communicate with someone. That's not how you connect with someone. You're just giving comments that are kind of creepy and make people want to be like, ugh. So like he doesn't seem to really understand. Like, he doesn't understand how to connect with the rest of his castmates, and that's his big downfall, among many other things. Not that there's far for him to fall, but either way. So Craig is
also,
like,
just general apologizing. Like, I don't think she needs you to hand her a plate of food and call her pretty. Okay,
yeah,
I think that she's used to like homely dudes handing her plates of food and calling her pretty. Like, that's probably 90% of her fucking life in that town. Okay, she needs you to say sorry for slut shaming you in front of everybody, especially a new group of friends that don't even really know you yet. Sorry about that.
yeah.
Like, sorry I couldn't get laid by my dream girl, and so I turned it into a big drama about how you're being mean to her because I'm a complete fucking simp. But, you know, maybe I'll try to be better. You know, she doesn't care about your fucking sausage links, you douche.
Yeah. So Craig's like, I think you hurt Sally's feelings, some of the things you said before. And JT's like, well, I think that sometimes I'll come to people's defense, and sometimes when I do, but you know, there's bullets are stray, and I got to work on that. And it's like, not just say
That's
sorry,
not an
man.
apology.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's stupid.
So then Craig is like, hey, can everyone move down 2 seats to the left? And so everyone rotates because everyone thinks it's like a game or something. And Craig is like, oh, thanks. I just didn't want to be at the end of the table. He's like, I want to be in the center of all the action. So I'm making everyone else move for me.
So Sally at least is trying to earn a paycheck. She's like, JT, don't you think it's a problem when there's like 4 people in here that you have to apologize to? And he's like, I can handle a little hot water for a while. I'm good. I'm good. She's like, don't you feel weird about it? He's like, you know what? There's a lot to say to a lot of people, but I'd prefer that it's one-on-one. And I feel this with my heart, my soul, my gut, my ankle bones, my kneecaps. Feel it with every bit of my being.
But how are you going to make room for everyone you've upset? Because it's a lot. Well, I'm trying to show respect to each of you by not bringing stuff up at the table. I'm like, that's showing disrespect because people's paychecks depend on being able to fight at a dinner table on a TV show. So it's totally disrespectful what you're doing.
Yeah, and they're like, leave him alone. She's like, no, everything's on his term. I don't want to talk about it later. I want to talk about it now. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And she's like, fine, then don't talk to me. And Craig's like, but you see why it's not going to be fun to go out on a party boat if all of us have something to talk to you about? Like, why don't you just apologize to people?
Well, I will say something here. Craig, it bothers me greatly that you lied and you offended Miss Patricia like that because I didn't say that word about her. Yeah, you did. You said she was a bitch at the cup when you handed her the cane. Craig, you're lying. It was loud and clear. And Maston's like, he would not make that shit up. He would not. I love when people come to Craig's defense and say he would not make shit up. He literally has lied for years on the show. He lied about his law school. What more do people want? Like, you can say that you like Craig. You can say you find him charming, that he's grown, but you cannot say that he would 100% not make something up. He is the one most likely candidate of everyone on the cast to make something up, to fabricate something out of thin air.
And JT's like, he wouldn't. Now you're 100% sure that Craig's not lying. She's like,
I don't think Craig gets off on making us feel like shit, especially his mother. She's very, very rich.
now, the thing with JT is, I believe JT. I don't think he called her a bitch, and he didn't say the word affair and everything that we're about to get into. I don't think he did that stuff. The problem is he did come in swinging at everybody at the beginning of the season. He did insinuate that Madison's husband was super jealous, which he was when we found out when Madison said that he did get pissed and they did call him for clarity. But it wasn't really about an affair. So we do know that he was jealous, but still it wasn't really his business to be, making that camera fodder or whatever. So she has a right to be pissed. But the problem is he's made everybody pissed. So there's nobody to stand up to Craig because they don't care. They know that Craig is lying. They don't even care that Craig is lying because he's against somebody they all hate. That's you. And you did this to yourself. So
Yeah, I think JT came into this season feeling like he had a really strong freshman outing. I think the audience by and large liked him, even if he was like annoying at times. He stood up to Austin. People liked that. And I think he came in thinking that he like understood the game now, and now he was going to make his move to really like center himself in the show. And he overplayed his hand, and he messed up right out of the gate, and he was never able to come back. And then he's been stuck on the outlines. People are not filming with him. He knows it, and now he's coming in, and he's sort of like now he's gonna try to play the pity card, and he's just failing at it. He just completely flopped this season, even if he is in the right on these situations.
and he was at BravoCon. And this is the image that will always stick with me years later of JT. And I think this summed him up pretty well. He's walking in, and there's like a group of people taking pictures, like fake paparazzi or whatever. And whenever they come in, they're like, "Whoa!" So he came into some lukewarm woos. I would say some lukewarm woos. And then he had a water bottle, and he like threw the water bottle up to catch it and look cool. But then the water bottle exploded in his face. I think he didn't have the top on or something. So he caught it and it like squeezed all over his face. And like he had a moment of looking embarrassed and then was just like, and just started pouring it all over himself. And then raised his arms to like do double politician waves and had really sweaty armpits. And I was like, this poor guy,
Yeah.
he's just kind of sad. And so that's kind of the image that will always stick with me. And that's pretty much every scene he's done since.
Yeah. Poor guy. So then Craig is like, Shep was there. He saw you call her a bitch. No, you're living in alternate reality, Craig. Shep, back me up on this. And Matt's like, Shep, what are you gonna say about that? Shep's like, well, Garsh, well, you heard it from Sienna's pretty little freckled lips first that I didn't hear that. I'm on record set by thing. I did not hear that. And so
hey, we have a gay person here. Let's have him say something gay. Cut to the gay person. And so Rodrigo's like, I'm shook. Thanks. All right, someone pay the man. So Taylor's like, that's one thing I don't believe because JT's not the type of person to ever you demean a woman. Well, except when he slut shames one for kind of giving a blowjob.
And Vanita's like, that's why it's hard for me. And by the way, Vanita, like, this is your buddy. Why don't you help him out? Like, Vanita's like honestly very quiet for someone that's like her like friend and everything,
Well, the cast doesn't talk to Vanita either. So I don't think she's like really in a power position where they would listen to her either. And I think she knows it. I think she's barely hanging on with this group, Like she doesn't offend anybody, but nobody hangs out with her either. So I think she feels like her position is tenuous enough and it's already bad enough that she's kind of tied herself to this monstrosity this season, but who knows? So she's like, yeah, this is really hurting me. And Taylor's like, well, there's one thing he would never say, and he would never say the B word about her. So Craig's like, did you not say something about Austin too and Audrey? Yeah, but he hates them and Austin hates him. So who cares? Like, we need to separate all of the issues and not make them one big issue.
Yeah, Craig is just trying to come for JT, And you said shit about Madison and her husband, and you made fun of like the FaceTiming thing on your vacation. He's like, I didn't say that. I didn't make fun of everyone. It's like, okay, dude. She goes, did you say the word affair? No. And Craig's like, well, I stand by everything I fucking said. So JT's like losing his mind because he's lying about that, And she's like, do you remember that, Shep? And Shep is like, oh, gosh, The fair? No, Garsh, it was nonsensical. The exact opposite of the Vietnam War by Ken Burns. Honestly, I didn't understand what he was saying.
So then we cut back to the golf place where JT is talking about Madison putting on his blue stripes in Jamaica, and it made Brett feel a little weird. Bronk. And Vanita's like, but you didn't say the B word, right? You said the word affair. So what's the story? And JT's like, Craig lost. That's the story. And Madison's like,
I'm starting to realize this might be a little bit blown out of proportion, and maybe Craig, said it a little too dramatic or something. So now, JT, I'm not going to embarrass you in front of all these people. So next time I embarrass you, it'll be one-on-one on national television when I say something like, you think I would have an affair with you?
I would love to talk. I'd love to talk. Thank you, Madison. Thank you. She goes, I'll give JT half an inch on this one. So Craig's like, I really thought you were going to own your shit, man, and apologize to everyone. Watch Craig, when confronted with the fact that there's no audio evidence or any evidence whatsoever from production, still not apologize to JT at the reunion.
yeah, because they just showed us a clip, too, of Craig lying, because that's not at all what JT said. They just showed a clip of JT saying, well, I handed Miss Patricia a cane, and she didn't take it. That was weird, which is not the same as saying, that old woman's a bitch, So,
yeah. Craig's like, I didn't lie. What you said, flame this. It's like, what you said, flame this. Ha, got you.
So he's like, things are not going to get better with me sitting here, so I'm going to go to the bar.
So Ryan's like, oh, I'm shook as well. All right, another gay getting his paycheck. So he runs off after Craig to do nothing, as Ryan does on this show. And JT's like, Jesus Christ, that's why I didn't want to get into it. And Craig's just like, this is like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
So then basically Shep is trying to give JT advice. Like, hey, man, calm and collected gets the point across.
Well, you were off the fucking rails. Like, why though? Why, JT? And JT's like, well, Craig gaslit shit, dude. He's like, but hold on. Like, no, he gaslit him. He gaslit you. He gaslit me. This guy's out of fucking control. He's making me seem crazy. Yeah, but like, you've had so many opportunities to come in and be like, "Wah," and be cool and be chill. But it seems like every time you just like shit everywhere that you step. It's insane right now.
Hey, but Austin, if you're going to talk like that, why don't you talk that way to Craig? I mean, how come you only talk like that to JT, but not to Craig? And he's like, don't you dare compare the two. How dare you? He's like, yeah, but you just sit there quiet as a church mouse with Craig. And he's like, don't you dare compare the two.
So now Ryan and Craig are talking at the bar, and Ryan's like, He came here tonight to call you a liar. And Craig's like, yeah, well, I don't have a transcript of exactly what he said. No, I don't. But I know what I heard, which was bitch. So Shep's a pussy because Shep was there with me. But Shep's so fucking messed up with his Sienna thing that he just wants everyone to get along, which doesn't make any sense.
So
He wants
then
everyone
Sally...
I guess... What does that have to do with anything? I guess he's saying that Shep wants everyone to get along so that way when Sienna hangs out, she's not like horrified by the group.
I guess, but she's never going to hang out, so it shouldn't really matter. And, I had some doubts before when this first came up because I was like, well, maybe JT said in a separate conversation, Patricia's a bitch, and used the word affair or something. Maybe it was off camera, but now Craig is specifying, no, it was that day when Shep was there, and we just saw the footage of him not saying that, so stupid Craig. So then back at the table, Sally is also mad at Shep. She's like, I'm just confused. Like, why you've got JT's back when you've been friends with these guys forever? He's like, I don't ever hold back. I'll tell you how I feel. And Austin's the one who holds back. Okay. And now he's going for it. And Austin's like, that is a different animal. How dare you compare that to?
But it's true. No, you're wrong. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. wait, what? You're capitulating
Austin
all of a
backs
sudden?
down immediately. He's like, okay, you're not wrong.
You're
Craig's
on-
not here.
you're
I
on
don't
the
have to be
debate.
mad anymore. So
Yeah. I mean, this
So
is so
Shep's-
double standardish. With Craig, Austin talks a big game until it's time to talk the big game. But JT, he's an easy target. I stand for justice. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. I'm going to reuse that a few times.
So Austin's like, yeah, I still hold a grudge, and you're a piece of shit. But all these other people have an issue with you, man. Okay, like everyone does. So blah blah blah. So Sally's like, well, I'm making this statement right now. I will not go on the boat if JT goes on the boat. Sally, you're doing nothing on this show. Okay, bring JT on the boat. Hit him on the boat. What's a party without a pinata? Okay.
And I guarantee the producers are going to pick JT over Sally because JT is in more conflict right now. So enjoy your time hanging out by the pool. So Austin's like, oh, you're a little weasel fuck, JT. Blah. So JT's just like, Austin basically says that, like, you know, JT doesn't care what people have to say. And JT's like, oh, Vanita, weigh in, please. Come on, Vanita. And Vanita's like, I can't. She's like crying. So Austin's like,
this
you're
is hurting
literally
me.
the piece of shit of my
This
toe.
is really
Shit.
hurting me. And Austin tells him he's literally a piece of shit. So JT's like, I'm out. You're not, none of y'all are worth my time. And so he leaves. And then JT's like, for you to call me a piece of shit after how you handled your shit last year. He's like, I'll go deflect to someone else. I don't care. How dare you conflate that too. So JT leaves, which, you know, I feel like they just need to start putting guardrails up to stop letting cast members leave at this point. It's ridiculous with this cast. Like, no one's there. They've got like half a cast every time they shoot. And two of those people are JT and the other one. I mean, not JT, Rodrigo and the other one. You don't do anything.
Ryan.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah. So Shep goes over to the bar. And he like startles Craig, and Craig's like, I've never done anything with ill intent. I'm like a little disappointed in you, man. You were there. And Shepard's like, no. Garsh, we're in a good place. I'm a good little boy. And I don't want to interfere with that. No, I'm not upset with you. I just wish you would have been like JT. You were wrong that day. He's like, but no, there's no reason to be upset. I know you're not upset. And Ryan's like, let him dig his own grave. That was a good one, guys, right? Guys?
So do you think Craig actually believes his lies? Or what is Craig doing? You think
I think Craig believes
them?
it. I think Craig believes it because I think Craig hears things that aren't always true. I mean, he's always been someone who's played telephone. And, you know, he believes that he heard this, but he's wrong. And the fact that he has such conviction is, like, annoying because it's like you do this all the time. You didn't hear it right.
My theory is that he knows this didn't happen, and he's just using the word bitch because he knows that that'll be an automatic block, you know, for the group anymore. And he's using this language because they had all agreed to get JT off the show because nobody liked him. And now people are waffling, and he's mad at Shep because he's not just sticking with the original bullshit. But who knows, really? I mean, I'm honestly just theorizing because nothing's happening on this show. So now JT goes to sit in the van, which is hilarious that they're like, okay, you want to leave? Well, we're not going to drive you anywhere. So he still has to be there. And Craig's like, oh, yeah, well, look, Madison says something like, well, anybody who's friends with JT can go in there, but I ain't going in there. And Craig's like, yeah, well, JT's best friend Shep is going in there. So now we're in divided vans, and Craig's calling Shep a pussy for being nice to JT. And Taylor's like, well, JT has like a ton of shit he needs to work on, and we all know that I would move in with those people for a good solid few years before I ever say anything.
So Craig's like, yeah, that's why we're trying to teach him. But there's one thing that I do not think that I don't think he would talk to a woman that way. That's not the crux of the issue. Why you and Shep have his back with this is nuts. I don't trust people that can't apologize. He didn't say sorry one time. So in the other van, JT's like, I've never felt more like a piñata in my life. That was as close to feeling like a piñata as you could possibly be. It was like I was like a big thing stuffed with candy hanging from a tree and people were swinging at me. What I'm trying to say is if you had a child's party, it's like, we get it. You feel like a piñata. So Shep is like, oh, you handle yourself very well. It's like, no, I'm going to fly home tomorrow. And then Whitney is like, wasted. He's like, no, listen, don't leave. Have a sensible conversation with Madison. It's like, could someone get Whitney some hot coffee or something? He is wasted on this bus.
Whitney's always wasted these days.
He's
like, yeah,
he's like just slurring more than ever.
Yeah, they have a sensible conversation with Madison. You know, she's the most aggrieved. Whitney, you can't yell at everybody else for not showing up to the workplace when you barely show up either. You've been off all day too. So JT's like, I'm done. I'm eviscerated. I've got no guts left in my body. This town will realize what it once had, once it no longer has me. You shall remember my statue in the parks, but it shall never move because I have been aggrieved. All right.
And Vanita's like, "Are you mad at me?" And he's like, "I just like, let's just talk later." Oh. So basically, Whitney's like, "Let's go and gamble." So everyone heads off, and there's like funniness in the hotel, getting smashed by elevator doors and things like that. And the girls are hanging out in the girls' suite, drinking and having fun. And Vanita, she gets into her pajamas and she slinks over to JT's room and she knocks on the door. And he's like, "No cameras, no cameras." And then, but she goes in anyway without the cameras. The door's shut, and then there's fireworks, and then we go to commercial. So I was like, okay, it's the old rope-a-dope, where she goes in, and then they just have a talk about everything, and they try to make it look like sexy times. That's what I thought, because that's what they always do.
Yeah. So then the next morning, the guy's room is just disgusting because it's guys, and one of the sinks is just running. we don't ever really know
Yeah, I
why.
was wondering what was up with that.
I don't
Just a
know.
running sink.
Yeah. So then Vanita had the most giant piece of food that she was eating. I was like, wow, what is this local delicacy? I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, is that a corn cake? What is that? It was a bagel. It was just gigantic.
I was like, they have bagels in the Bahamas. It was very enormous, and they actually they sort of paused. They timed the music. Like if the music was, how they always have these sort of slinky sounds on Southern Charm, where it was like glink 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 glink. And on the last glink was when she finally took her bite. She was slowly bringing the bagel up to her mouth. It's like a glink. I hope it was a good bagel.
I really
It
like when they
looked
get into
promising.
their Peter and the Wolf mode on this show with the music and the orchestra and stuff, because they've decided that JT is like the bassoon or whatever.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is like a high, like bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, and then it gets to him and it's just like. Every time they cut to him, they just cut to the bassoon.
Oh man, to be the bassoon.
Yeah.
So Vanita, the producer asked her what happened. So I'm expecting her to say, "Well, we talked and I tried to convince him to stay, but he was really sad." No, instead she goes, "Well, I literally straddled this man and said, don't act like you don't want this as bad as I do."
Oh
And
God.
I was like, Vanita, that's actually poor form, because he did say he has a girlfriend. You shouldn't do that. I know it's ultimately up to the man, but come on, Vanita, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's not cool. And also, it was like a dinner that he just got completely, eviscerated at, and he was all sad and left. And he's needs somebody to talk to, and she straddles him and is like, "Give it to me." I mean, geez. So he's like, "Well, I think I made it pretty clear that when I removed her, not once but twice, off of me in my bed in the Bahamas, because I have a girlfriend." But he's also like, "Can you believe it? A hot girl straddled me. Like, what the hell?"
I know. He's like,
And
"Why
he's
didn't
like,
you do this on camera?"
yeah, and she's like, for him to come out and say, like, "Listen, the feelings that I have, the feelings that you have for me are the same, and I have for you, but stronger." So then what is he doing too? These two, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. He was wrong when he was initially being flirty with her, and he was wrong that whole dinner and everything. He ate the whole meal and was being flirty, and then it's like, "By the way, I have a girlfriend." So he sucks for that. I'm just saying, Vanita, you know, like don't waste your pretty. Don't waste your pretty on JT. It's time to move on. You're like a gorgeous catch. You're probably one of the biggest catches on this show. You could do better than JT. Than sort of throwing yourself at JT when he's already in a relationship. Come on, Vanita.
Yeah,
you
but
could do better.
this show is famous for you have to fuck somebody to be on this show. I mean, look at Whitney. Honestly, he's definitely the gatekeeper of that. Look how many people have had to date Whitney to get on this show, or Shep, or one of them. You have to do it to get on this show. I mean, it was last year it was Olivia, that when she was pretending to date people just because she wanted to be on the show, And I guess that's what they consider the show to be about. It's kind of like Below Deck, where they're like, "Well, somebody better try and fuck this season, or we don't have a show."
Right.
But it's just it's kind of ruining the show, because it's happening now with almost every couple that's on it, and it's just cringy to watch. So, but I didn't understand why she said for him to come out and just say, "Listen, the feelings that I have, the feelings you have for me are the same I have for you, but stronger." The feelings you have for me. So he's saying, so he is kind of still leading her on, right? I don't know.
Well, if he
I
says
don't
the
care.
feelings you
I
have
don't
for me
believe
are
any
the
of it.
same I have for you, but stronger, it's like we have feelings, but you have stronger feelings for me. That's his way of saying, I think you like me more than I like you.
Yeah. So he's like, I mean,
guess.
look, you're down, you're out, you're sad, and you got a beautiful girl throwing herself at you, and you're like, no, please, I can't. I mean, I'm just trying my best here, guys. Wow.
So Vanita's like, yeah, he was just like, I can't do that. I'm supposed to be in a relationship. I'm supposed to be dating this girl. I can't. And that was my cue of like, got it. I'm like, girl, your cue came a few episodes ago.
Yeah,
So
you had your
she
cue.
just-
And the weirdest part is she's telling this like it's the cutest romantic story. She's like flipping her ponytail around and like smiling in the diary room. It's weird. I don't like it.
Vanita's had just a series of swings and misses this season, from almost drowning to trying to land JT. Ugh, poor girl. So now Madison tells Sally that JT wants to meet up. So Madison's like, well, I know I've gone super hard on JT for this, but we were friends at one point. You know, I did lower my standards at one point in my life and let him in. So Sally's like, so you're going to call? You're going to meet him in person? She's like, I think he's going to come by. So then meanwhile, Shep comes
She's like,
downstairs.
I ain't going over there. He better come over here. I'm not walking over there.
So then we go to the guy's suite, and Shep comes down just looking like shit and gets in bed with Craig. And he's like, I saw your calls. Thanks for looking out, but I spiraled last night because I'm just a person who want love. It's not because I'm still the crazy alcoholic that you refused to be friends with last year after I got kicked out of BravoCon, right? And Craig's like, well, yeah. Basically, we went to a casino. Shep got kicked out of the casino, and he was so drunk he couldn't stand up. And then we went to the room and he still wasn't there. And we couldn't find him. Dun, dun, dun. Then we hit an air tag. And the air tag said, this man is too depleted of life force to locate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, basically Craig is like, oh my, I mean, Shep is like, yeah, well, I guess I had a rough night. I guess I woke up on a chair by the beach. I mean, that was fine. Nothing happened. Yeah. So he basically got wasted, got kicked out of the casino, wound up wandering on the beach, passed out in a chair. So I guess old Shep isn't so far away, huh? So he's like, 2 nights ago I was completely fine though. And I was just like trying to process a lot. And I think yesterday, it just all hit me. So, when you guys were like, leave your phone and let's have fun, I think I took that too seriously. So it's your fault. You guys made me get wasted.
Yeah, but you know what? This isn't healthy. Like, you slept on a beach chair because of her, Like, you don't want anything to do with that.
He's like, no, what? It's just Craig. You have this stance. You're like, this is what's right. Sleeping in a bed, not getting kicked out of casinos. I mean, who even are you? How do you live like that?
And he's like, but, like, everything you're going through, like, is her fault. Because, like, if 3 weeks ago you planned this trip, those feelings were the same, like, we'd be one big happy
No, it's not her fucking fault. Oh my God, this fucking weirdo. So Shep's like, I'm just so in love. I know nothing about her, but gosh, I love her. She has lips with freckles.
Have you talked to her today? No. If she comes to the boat, then great. Well, that's what it is. Like, you get to spend another day with her, another day, and you get to see what it looks like at the end of the day, right? So meanwhile, JT goes over to Madison's room, and he has a little red box as a gift, and he's like, hey, can you give me another pillow? Sorry, I got a bad back, diabetes, bad back, I'm getting old. Hey, so thanks for giving me that pillow. It's the nicest thing you ever done for me. Don't get used to it. Yeah, well, it's the little things. Anyway, I want to give you this to give to Whitney. It's a very nice box of cigars, but I got this from Miss Patricia and Whitney after Craig made that bullshit up, but you can smoke them if you want.
It's like,
I'll keep him.
which I liked. So he's like, okay, and you can also decide who gets to smoke them. All right. Well, thank you for taking them this time, because I didn't want to get it into the table, but I didn't want to have those conversations at dinner. But thank you for volunteering to talk to me. Just where do I start to dive in? I'm sorry I brought up that FaceTime call that you actually made to Craig, and that was a huge mistake. And she doesn't deny that the phone call happened. And he's like, It wasn't a hit job on you. And she's like, well, that hurt my feelings. And he's like, okay, wait, hurt your feelings? Because didn't you hear what I said? You heard what Craig said that I said. I mean, this was a conversation for us. And, now we're stuck in Craig's telephone game of bullshit. And it's fucked up. And I want our relationship back. Okay? And she's like, I just want this friendship to work, okay? I chose the best of 2 pairs of shoes last night, and I was eviscerated to my core.
So Madison's like, well, I'm glad that he got to say his piece, but we can move on. I am done with this. He's like, well, thank you for your audience, and I hope you guys have a great day on the boat, because I shall not be there. And she's like, you're not going to show up? No, I'm going to go back and take care of some business. My mama sent me a rug, so I'm going to put it somewhere. All right, well, I don't think you need to carry it out. I mean, part of being in this group is dealing with being hazed, and you're gonna have to get on that boat while everyone yells at you. You gotta do that. He's like, no, I can't negotiate the truth with Craig. No.
Yeah, so he's gonna wuss out, which kind of just destroys the whole season, basically, because there's like literally nothing. So then the girls are talking about it, and they're like, "What happened?" She's like,
Nothing really. I mean, got some big fat cigarettes to smoke, I guess.
I'm like, well, I guess he's just trying to be civil. She goes,
I don't know. I'm bored. I can only imagine how the audience feels. And they're like, I almost feel bad for him. Down, 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 plunk.
so now Craig, the relationship expert, gets his completely uninterested girlfriend on the phone to lecture Shep.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, hey, chicken. Wait, wow, you guys look like you have a really sick place. Thanks. It is sick, but I need your help talking to Shep. So, Shep is like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. What do you guys have to say? Well, I told Paige a little bit about last night, and Paige is just like laughing because she's just like, this man is so pathetic, all of them. And so Shep is like, well, it's just been hard, Paige. I'm sure you can understand. Well, the only thing I will say is, especially with long distance, if it's already shaky, it's only going to get shakier. Like if you're in long distance and you think like one person, if it's been like 2 years and they still haven't moved to your like bucolic little suburb in the South, then like you have to get the point and like realize it's just like never going to work out. You know, do you
If
understand
she's
that
not
lesson?
breaking up with you now, she's just waiting till between seasons so she's not hazed as hard on Twitter. So that's what you need to understand.
Well, here's what he's hung up on because he's like, how could someone tell me that they loved me 3 weeks ago and now act like this?
I don't even believe that she said she loves you, unless it was like
No.
in that very casual, like, yeah, sure, love, yeah, I love being with you, or something that he took it the wrong. Because we already saw Shep bullshitting last week, where he's like, she said I was gonna miss you. Cut to her going, well, I don't know if I'm gonna miss you, or whatever she said.
Yeah, that's the thing. Shep has not been a good character witness either. I mean, I do believe him with the Craig thing because we have cameras to back it up. But like Shep literally made up some sort of fictional thing that Sienna said, "I love you." So I don't know what's up with that. But it's been like 3 weeks ago, as far as I can tell, was when she went off to Africa and came back and like didn't speak to him the entire time and basically ghosted him after that entire experience. So like it's been pretty obvious for a while now that Sienna's not so into Shep. If anything, it seems like Sienna, after her trip to Charleston earlier in the season, that's when she started to pull away. She was like, oh no, I don't like this at all. Yeah, this is not going to be for me.
Yeah, he's full on pretending I'm his girlfriend without even telling me. It's fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
So Paige is like,
Okay, listen, things change. If she's not texting you back, she's not trying to sleep with you every night, she's not trying to hang out, she's not trying to introduce you to her family. Now listen to this. Craig, you too. I don't like you.
Craig's like,
She doesn't
wow,
like you.
I can't believe Paige just called Miss Patricia a bitch.
he'll try it.
Shep-
Watch next season. He'll be like,
Oh my God, Miss Patricia, I should have known Paige was wrong when she called you the C word.
well, I never. Randy's getting extra lashings for another month.
Yeah.
So Paige is like,
Look, I'm going to tell you something that my mom used to tell me all through my 20s. You're going to meet a man named Craig one day, and you'll be able to do better. So ride that wave while you can, and then move on from the pillow man. Also, if people like you, you'll know it. She doesn't like you. Am I done here? Do I get paid for this?
Let her go. Okay, chicken out. So now Molly is getting into a dress, and Ryan's hanging out with the girls, and everyone's getting ready for the boat. And Shep, they're heading to the boat, and Shep gets a message from Sienna that surprise, 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 surprise. Hey, you're not sure I'm gonna be able to make it to the boat. I'm running late. Sorry. So like, so we all knew this text was going to come. And although I have to say, at this point, I am kind of feeling like, Sienna, you got to cut the cord here. That you are kind of like, everyone can see, everyone at home, everyone in this group can all see you don't like this guy. And we support you not liking Shep. But now at this point, it's time to be like, just say, hey, I'm not interested in doing this anymore, which I guess is what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
but she
next
tried to
episode.
have the conversation with Shep, and he refused until they were on camera. And so now she knows what he's trying to do, which is make her look like a villain and him look like some sweet, innocent little boy. So I think she's just trying to avoid it until he's back home and she can dump him
Yeah.
properly, you know?
You know what it is? It's like
And
do like a
it
proper
worked. Even though it's
ghosting.
completely obvious what he's doing, it's worked. I mean, people on the internet
Yep.
are like, fuck that girl for hurting poor Shep.
Yeah, well, I'm still on Sienna's side, but I kind of feel like you should just do like a proper ghosting. So like, don't commit to going on the boat ride that you know you're not going to go on. Just say, I'm busy this week. I'm washing my hair. So he's
Or
like,
no, like
"Oh,
it would be
gosh,
nice
well."
to pull a real ghost where you're like, what do you mean? I'm on the boat. What do you mean you don't see me? I'm right here.
Just
I'm holding your
gaslight.
hand.
I've been here all this time. So he's like, wait, well, what's your ETA? We'll hold the boat. We'll stop everything. We won't go on the seas. And she's like, basically like, no, I'm gonna be really. I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight. I'm minimizing my Shep time. Please go. Stop texting me.
Yeah, so everybody else has decided to just leave Shep because he's pathetic. Well, mostly Craig. He's like, we're leaving. So they go to the boat instead, and Shep is like, what a predicament. And then they're deciding that they're just going to fucking leave him because they're sick of listening to him. And now Whitney is also not coming because,
There's sunshine.
no one in this cast comes to work whenever they don't want to. And they're like, yeah, he's a vampire. So Molly's like, I mean, I don't even get it with JT. Like, I'm trying to be nice and just be like, I'm going to try and understand. But like, he knew what he had to do and he can't even apologize. So whatever. He can fuck right off.
Yeah. So Sienna replies and says, I don't know how late I'm going to be. Why don't I just see you later at dinner? So then Shep tries to call her. And of course, she doesn't take the call. Like, I mean, I'm cringe. Everything about this makes me cringe for Shep. Like, oh my gosh, she doesn't like you. Why are you now calling her on top of that? Why are you being so clingy and needy? Stop it. So, so everyone's getting on the boat. And Craig is like, he's in his 40s. He'll make his own decisions. All we can do is lend our opinion of it. And if he takes it, he takes it.
And Taylor's like, yeah, at the end of the day, you got nothing for nothing. He's gonna do what he wants to do. And I can tell you this much, what he's gonna want to do is not own his emotions. Oh, what are you talking about? He's over there like rolling around in them,
Yeah.
He's like trying to get anybody to believe that he has them in the first place. So Shep just writes her back, Garsh, I really wanted you to come with us. We could have done the Titanic thing on the front of the boat, except you would have been the one to drown and die instead, because I'm rich. But still, whatever. I guess I'll see you back at the hotel. Garsh. So he walks to the boat like as slowly as possible. And by the way, he's in a bright pink matching shorts romper.
Yeah.
Which makes this whole
And
thing much funnier.
And he just is like, his sad walk is so sad. He's like, oh gosh, gosh, gosh. Like that, those hands are flapping more, swinging really sadly, and his head is hung down. And everyone's watching him approach the boat, and everyone's like, oh, Shep, oh, look at the walk, ooh, sad little walk, And so he comes on board. And they're like, oh, Shep, and they're hugging him. He's like, gosh. Gosh.
And Sally's like, I mean, I feel bad looking at him because, he does look so sad, but he'll get over it. That's life.
Yeah.
I might have suggested
exactly.
the first step, find a parking space at Great American.
That's right. Mass is like, hey, Molly, go kiss him. Go kiss him, make him feel better. So Craig's like, look, I want us all to have fun because that's what you do when you break up. Although I'm not sure you really broke up because you had to be together in the first place. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then there's a record scratch because Taylor's like, gross. She turns around. She doesn't like that. So then Austin goes to talk to Shep, and, they're trying to make him happy, but it's not really working because, Shep's just so sad. So then Sally checks in. Then they get in the water, and Shep's like, I wanted her to come, but she's running late. So I just texted her and said, meet me back at the hotel. I mean, but this was her idea. This whole trip was her. It just makes no sense.
Yeah. So Matt's like, oh, good God, could someone get him a drink? So then so Shep is like, I'm just gonna have fun. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna have fun. So they get to like they're gonna go to Rose Isle. So Shep is like, my island. No man is an island unless they have one. So they go there, and there's funny party times on the boat and everything, and then if your hand is on the pole for 3 seconds, you have the rule of the boat is you have to do a dance on the pole. So it's all kind of like fun stuff, and they're all like, yeah, we need to get Shep drunk because he's spiraling right now.
Yeah. So then Molly's talking to Shep later, and she's like, yeah, I haven't had sex in over a year. It's like been nuts. Like, I don't even know what it's like to have sex as an obese person yet. And he's like, well, you've been celibate. She's like, I mean, I masturbate, so there's that. So that's fun. I mean, I'm not, I got a vibrator. And he's like, wow, well, I didn't want to say it. She's like, I mean, come on, I'm not a nun. Okay. So Austin saying,
Well, I don't know, like, I don't know what the situation is, but, nobody can make you get over someone except for yourself, Your friends can be like, come on, man. But, until you stop feeling like, this is insane, what are you going to do,
So then Vanita, Taylor, and Rodrigo are talking, and Vanita's like, yeah, JT really hurt my feelings because he wouldn't come on the boat. And I said, do it for me. But then he wouldn't come on the boat for me. And I was like, wow, that really hurts. Okay, you're another one. Why don't you just date Shep?
Yeah.
You're both pathetic at this point. Like, stop. The man said he doesn't want you. Stop texting him.
Rodrigo's like, plot twist, JT's with Sienna. Ha 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 ha. I'm shook. So JT's packing up all his stuff. And then we go back to Vanita, and she's like, JT's my best friend, so it's hard to have everyone come at him at the table. He was like, I'm stressed. I feel like I'm getting beat up all the time. And I'm like, well, you got to make it right. Like, you're allowing everyone to beat you up right now because you're not speaking. So JT's like, well, I'm leaving the Bahamas because I see Mission Impossible right now with the friend group. And so,
oh, please, you're just picking that movie because he's also short.
Yeah.
So then he's packing up, and it's the longest 5-minute packing scene I've ever seen. They're like, well, we're paying this man, so we might as well get him doing something. Let's watch him put his stuff into packing cubes. So we watch that for a while, and then he leaves, and he's like, see you later, NASA. And he's out. So then back to the boat. Austin's like,
Hey, Sally, show him your tits. There's a boat over there.
why is everybody telling Sally to do that all the time? Poor Sally.
So then Austin's like, hey, Molly, do you think Shep's tongue would taste like sandpaper? And she's like, well, do I think his tongue would taste like sandpaper? Well, why don't you try it out? He's like, Garsh, it's been a year. I'm doing her a favor. So Molly's like, I feel like I'm at a middle school dance, and everybody's like, go dance with him. But then I'm dancing with a tuba. Flashbacks. So then they hug, and it's like cute and everything. And
I'm not buying any of that either. I'm not buying that Molly likes Shep, or that Shep's even considering this. It's kind of bad. It's kind of bad improv at this point. So then Craig is doing some ocean euphemisms. He's like,
hey, you know what I always say? Go where the tide is.
They're like, yes, well done, Craig. So Madison and Shep sit on a boat together because they're on the island. They're just like gonna hang out, and Shep is like, Gosh, Sienna and I, we went around that point, and she was like, I want you to buy me that house. And Madison goes, shut up. He's like, yeah, it was like a $10 million house. And I was like, I don't know. Hey, do you feel like maybe you're not rich enough for her? And Shep goes, yeah, maybe I do. I'm like, wait a second, what is this narrative? Like, no, she's not a gold digger. She has TV. She sees who you are. She talked with you. She got tuna salad spat at her face when you talked with your mouth open, okay? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with money. No.
That's what happens when you don't give a guy like Shep what you want. He immediately starts calling you a gold digging slut. That's what happens. That's classy change Shep for you guys.
But then, to be fair, he goes, but then again, who am I? Who the fuck am I? I'm a fucking wild son of a bitch, sort of a disaster zone. Yes, that's probably the stronger point than that Sienna wants someone who can afford more than a $10 million home.
Yeah, but he doesn't really believe that. He just wants some pretty girl to tell him he's worth something, which Madison doesn't, which I really like. At first, at least, she's like,
yeah, well, you are sort of a mess.
How am I a good idea for anybody? I mean, who wants to wake up to somebody who's got a mailbox full of their daddy's money? No one, probably. Who wants someone handsome and set for life? No one. I've read Shakespeare.
I'm realizing that in the past, I was a wild man. But you know what, though? Last night counts as the past, and today is the now. So I'm feeling a bit inadequate because a lot of girls are seeking a stable life. And I'm like, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, so I don't know.
Isn't that ride closed?
No, it's not. I recently went on it.
Really?
I went on it with a cold brew. Yeah, which was a fun experience. I took an illegal cold brew. You weren't supposed to have a cold brew, but I was like, I was told the person when I was getting on, I was like, what do I do with this cold brew? And he was like, just hold it low so the cameras don't see you. So I had a cold
He's like,
brew.
just fucking
And
take it. It's Mr. Toad's. Okay, nobody
I was like,
cares.
if I'm going to hell, I'm going to hell with a cold brew. So that's what happens on that ride. You go to hell. That's the whole point of the ride.
So Madison's like,
You deserve to be loved as much as you're giving her. So, fakely.
and he's like,
Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
she goes,
Everybody deserves to be someone that loves someone. Everybody deserves to be with someone that loves them. Even Shep.
so she's trying to be sad for him, but it's Shep, And so she's like,
Whoever thought I'd be sitting here talking you off a ledge?
he's like,
I was just so angry about it. Oh, thank God we know now she's just a gold digging slut and I can move on with my life.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we got
That's
to the
my
bottom
boy.
of that. And that was the episode. So next week it looks like Sienna is finally going to tell him, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. We never were in love. We weren't even boyfriend, girlfriend. Stop. Goodbye. Get out of my face. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I hope they have another 6 episodes this season. They're really making it happen. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here for Watch What Crappens. We will be back later today with a Traders recap, and we'll be back next week with just all sorts of stuff. So check out our tour schedule over at watchwhatcrappens.com, and we'll talk to you next time. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.